it's so great to have you today, Jaminda. This is the first episode of my podcast, and I'm really looking to interview successful entrepreneurs and find out how they started and see what tips they have for new entrepreneurs that want to start a business, or maybe they have already started their business and they're trying to find out how to best go about it. So I'm really happy that you're joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure. We've known each other before we became entrepreneurs, I'm sure. So yeah, it's a pleasure.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into business and what you're currently doing, so people have a little bit of a context.
Sure. So I got into the business in 2017. Well, I always wanted to open a business. I probably had my first business opened when I was in Sri Lanka. That was more than 20 years ago. And it was a travel agent, but it wasn't successful. I came to London. Now I've been here more than 21 years now. So anyway, I always wanted to have my own business. I didn't fancy working for anyone else because I am a hard worker. I know I give my best. So I was thinking, if I'm giving my best, I should work for myself, not for anyone else. So that was in my mind. So I started in 2018 on a business that didn't become successful. Actually, we had to close it down. I had a few partners. So yeah, that's how we all start. So yeah, that was when I started. I learned a lot of, I did a lot of mistakes. I learned a lot of lessons through that. And that's how this helped me to, I didn't even expect this much of success within 2 years actually. And I'm still amazed and I can't believe it. But there are a lot of things that I can share that will help a lot of people that I didn't believe before. And they are very, very useful and they're very, very important if someone is to become successful. It's more than thinking about us. It's about thinking about the outside others. So yeah, it's very interesting.
So you mean there's a shift in what you focus on as an entrepreneur, thinking less about yourself and more about
absolutely yes.
You mean the customers or
yes, it's about who you are serving basically. So what happens is when we first start, we start for a selfish reason sometimes, most of the time maybe. I want to become rich, I want to become wealthy, whatever, right? And you're looking for wealth, you're looking for money, and you're going behind something that is not going to come to you unless you serve other people genuinely. And that's when money starts coming in, flowing in, really. So yeah, initially, when you go for a sales call, you're like, how do I trap this person to get my business to sell? That's the mindset. I have to admit, I'm not, that's how we were thinking. I was thinking. I don't know about others, but most of the time we were thinking, how do I get this man or woman to buy my product or service? Yeah. And I wasn't fully focusing on that person's problem. I didn't care whether they had money or not. I didn't care about anything they had to say. So I was just talking about my product, my service, and trying to push the sale. And that's the worst thing you can do to become successful.
So you're saying that in the beginning where we might be inclined to be like, okay, I want to get something out of this. I want to make this sale. I want to convince this person to come on board and to make some money, right?
Correct.
And you're saying that actually doesn't work because then we're not listening to what they're actually saying, what they need. We're thinking about ourselves.
Correct. Absolutely.
So my question is, how do you shift your mindset? So let's say you're starting out, you're short on money and you feel like you really need this, but how do you start shifting your mindset so you can get to that place that you're talking about?
Okay, yeah, that's the interesting part, because what happens is initially everyone's after money because they're doing it to get the money, and for that simple reason they're like, oh, I need this money, I need this sale, I want to somehow get this sale, so they can't really focus on the client. So what happens, how the shift happens, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, but it's when you start serving a couple of people, you realize, because initially you are on like a short-term plan. You're not looking at the long-term plan. You're not looking at the overall picture. You're trying to get some money quickly, right? But as you go along, you start thinking, okay, how do I retain clients? How do I, because one thing, the beauty with this any business is that if you can impress a client, not make a client happy, if you can make them, give them a wow, this is what I want. This is because everyone loves themselves, right? More than anything else, anyone else, right? So when you respect your clients so much, when you give so much value to your clients, they are like, wow, this person is giving so much value, and they feel guilty not to refer you to someone. So that is the key. And if you can get one client to refer two people to you, you are spreading like a virus. Like your clients are going to come, because you need to focus on one client, not 10,000 clients, not everyone in the world. You need to find your ideal client, one person, and then go looking for that person and serve that person the best you can. Once you serve that person, and another thing I realized was we initially we tend not to ask negative feedback. Right? That is the most important thing. When you're serving someone,
painful sometimes.
Painful, yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah,
you don't want to take it. You can't take it,
Yeah.
right? You're like, no. I want all the positive feedback, and if someone says something negative, you get offended. No, that's treasure. If someone is giving a negative feedback, if you can change it and develop yourself, improve yourself, make it a better service, that means you are getting rid of one negativity and then you're improving. So you need to keep asking. Every single a call I have with a client, or my team has a call with a client, they have to ask, what do you have anything negative? That's a very vital question. And then we look at it and then we see how we can improve it. It's not like we are, on top level and there aren't any negative feedback. We always have negative. You have to ask them in a way that it's not like, are you okay with what you're providing, right? That's not going to give you the answer, right? What can we do to improve, or what can we do to make the services better, right? Then they will give you the answer. And you just need to focus on that and make sure you provide
that's
the
a
value.
treasure. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
something that I missed in the first few months of my business.
So you had a lesson there, and then
Of
you
course.
realized how important it is.
Yes.
And now you implemented it, and you're getting results from that.
Yes, because we had clients coming in, but they were going. You don't want your clients, because my model is a membership model, right?
Yes.
So if they subscribe, if they stay with you, it's good, right? So if they're getting a good service, they will stay with you. If they're getting results, they will stay with you. But they weren't getting the results they wanted. So there was something wrong. So I was thinking, we need to make sure these clients stay and they bring us clients. And that's what's happening now.
Which is when they say they're leaving, they weren't recommending anyone either, right?
Correct, of course.
This is basically what you want to avoid, right?
Yes.
Because you want to make them really happy, you want to over-deliver.
Yes.
And those clients who are really happy, they will refer other people.
Absolutely.
Because they feel so taken care of, because in their world, where they're most important, their own needs, what they need to do, and you over-deliver on that, so you can wow them, right?
Of course.
So I really like how you make these shifts. I mean, what you said, where you said the short-term thinking, you need to shift out of the short-term thinking and be like, okay, what's the maybe even the lifetime value of a customer, thinking in that way, like, okay, how can I really please this customer so he stays with you long-term?
Exactly.
So he buys again, so he refers somebody. And you said another shift that you said is not focusing on the getting on yourself, but focusing on the giving and what the client actually needs.
Yes.
And so it's more of an outflow than what you can get from it. And I really liked what you said about the feedback as well, that we often want to avoid the negative feedback. and you said it's a treasure. So
Yes.
to actually look at it and to actually ask for it,
Yes.
like proactively go out and say, hey, is there anything we can improve? Is anything you didn't like so much, right? So you can start working on that.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I have some questions that I've written down, but I would like to ask one short piece before that, because I know people they are in the very beginning phases of starting a business, right? So we're talking now, and you're already having this business. You don't have a problem selling. I know you know how to sell. You're not afraid of that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they are scared to sell. They have hesitations. They feel uneasy when they're reaching out, and maybe they're blocked in that area. So
Yes.
do you have anything to share on that?
Okay. First, with a business, with any business, you have to verify that it's a valid business that people like to pay for. People sometimes they go with a hobby, right? And not necessarily people will pay for it. So you need to make sure people are willing to pay for it and they're getting a value that's worth the money they're paying. So that's very important. And you have to at least try to target to give 3-4 times more the value than what they're paying for. Then they are it's easy to sell, because selling is the hardest part for many people, right? For me, selling is the easiest part. I'll get to that and I'll give you some tips as well. But so for them to be able to sell, they have to give a lot of value on the sales call, and they have to prove that this is a very valuable product in order for them to invest. So even if it's $100, maybe 500, maybe 1,000, but you have to make sure, okay, this is what the value is, and it becomes a little bit easier then. And the next thing is the person who's selling should be able to believe in what they're selling as well. That's something that people startup lack. They think, wow, this is a little bit too much. The moment you have that in your mind, you can't sell. So that's why I'm saying you have to provide 4 times more value than in your head. It's not too much. You know it's not too much. So because that's what you're transferring to the client, and that's what they're buying. So they can see it's a transfer of energy. It's a transfer of your belief. So if you believe it's too much, then they're going to transfer to the client, and they will be like, yeah, I have to think about it. I have to ask my husband, give me a week, and then that means that's not going to happen.
Because you're doubting, and it transfers to them.
Absolutely, yes. So that's why you have to make sure you create something that's very valuable. You know it's valuable, and it's very easy. It's like you know a restaurant that's really, really good, and it's easy for you to sell that restaurant, right? You're saying, oh, you have to go and you have to eat there. That's the best place I've been. And you'll be like, yeah, where is it? What food, blah, blah, blah. And then it's easy, right? It's the same thing you're doing. This is because if you believe it, you will somehow give it to the client, because what you're doing is you're trying to help the client. It's like trying to treat someone who's got a disease, right? So why not you treat that person? That person has a pain. The person is coming to you because there is a pain, some kind of pain. Maybe they are the pain is not having enough clients. Maybe the pain is they're going through some tough time in their life. So that is the pain. So if you can give a solution to that pain, you should be able to help, and you should obviously help. If you're not helping, you're doing a disservice. So you should somehow try to help. You're like, yes. And the only way they will get rid of the pain is if they pay. Because if they don't pay, they don't pay attention, right? So they have to pay. That's another thing that I learned, because now we used to do a lot of free trials. We don't do the free trials anymore. Because when you give something free, they don't value it, and then they don't put the same effort, and they don't get the same results.
Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah, and I can remember from myself, when I was spending a lot of money on certain self-development courses or things, I was like, even when I didn't feel like at sometimes like doing it, I was like, oh, I spent so much money on this, I need to do this, right?
Exactly.
So it's a big factor in valuing that.
So the more money you put, the more attention you put, and then you will get results. So that's another thing that we learned. It's a lot of things we learned in a very short period, but I'm like 10 times a different person than 2 years ago. That's the beauty of it. So it's what you become that you attract. So that's what it is.
So would you say that you're grateful for the growth you've experienced personally through the medium of business, of running a business?
Absolutely, yes, of course. Because even now I know how to become successful regardless of my situation. So it doesn't matter whether I go bankrupt tomorrow, I will know the route. I know the way. Before I didn't know the route, I was looking for the route. Yeah, that's the difference. Now, no one can put me down because I know how to get up very easily, and it's simple as well. It's simple because you find a service that you can provide and you give the maximum, and you start with one client, make sure they refer, and then make sure every other client refers people, and you don't even have to do any marketing actually, but marketing helps a lot. That's a different thing. Yeah.
Because you're over delivering, you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so I would like to do a little segue into the questions I wrote down, because I think there's some interesting things to uncover about you and about your journey, and maybe
Sure.
some things about, you mentioned a little bit that you had a first business in 2018, right?
Correct.
And I remember when I started my first business, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. This is going to work. I was really enthusiastic, and then it didn't work. And I was like, oh no, am I doing something wrong? And more over the years, I looked at people, and people who were successful, and I realized almost everybody, they had their screw ups, right? There was not something that is not supposed to happen. Right?
Yeah, it's supposed to happen actually.
Yeah. So you also talked about how you're a hard worker. You really deliver when you're working. So it makes sense to work for yourself. So I'm curious about really what inspired you to become an entrepreneur, to go down this path. Like, where did that start? Like, we have some seeds there, but I'm curious, like, what's really moving you? What moved you to go down that route, to be like, yes, I'm gonna do it, and not just talk about it, but actually do it, like you're doing it right now.
Well, actually, one thing I want to do is help a lot of people. So not only in terms of service, but help poor people in poor countries, and in terms of spreading the religion and things like that. It's a lot of things that I had in mind. So for that, I had a feeling I needed money, and the more money I have, it becomes easier. So that's one reason why I wanted to get to a business where I can. I was looking for a passive income as well. I have done so many things in my life, so it's not like it's just going through business. I've tried to gamble in my life, tried to win big, and I've played poker, I've gambled, I've done like. I tried to do a lot of things, but in terms of business, another thing that will restrict you is if you're comfortable in a situation, then it's very hard for you to go too far. So with my previous marriage, what happened was I was kind of comfortable in terms of financial situation.
Yes.
Because I was married to a GP, so I was thinking, okay, there's money in the house, we can do what we want. So there was the why wasn't strong enough. So you need a very strong why. If you have a very strong why, then it becomes so much easier as well. And I did put my effort into this business, a lot of effort, maybe 16 to 18 hours per day, about 2 years. And that ended up losing a lot of friends, going through a divorce, and then finally I didn't have a lot of money to invest on the business. I invested about 200,000 GBP sterling, and then at the end I thought, oh, I'm hitting the rock bottom, and actually I hit the rock bottom later when I found out that there was a divorce filed, and I was kicked out of the house I was in. So I had nowhere to go, and I had to find money for the court case, and I had to find a place to go. So that was a tough time, And I don't give up. I'm not a person who gives up. And the more difficult it becomes, the more challenging it becomes, I take it as a good challenge and I get a lot of energy. So that's when I thought, okay, the biggest revenge is massive success. So I will do it, and there's no one's gonna stop this. And even my mother didn't believe me. And she said, "Oh, this is what happened. See, you've done so much work, you've done so many things. You even lost your house. It was it was a $500,000 house I lost, and yeah, things like this happen. But in my head, I know I'm not gonna go down, right? And that's when I got all the energy. And then I met my wife, and she helped a lot. And that's I have to tell that I wouldn't be here otherwise. That helped a lot. So anyway, so going back to the disaster that happened is what someone can take is, if you have a very strong why, you need to look inside you and see why you need it, rather than just do it because someone is telling you, or because it's nice to have some money. No, that's not a strong enough why. So if you have a very strong why, then you'll be like, yeah, you would do anything to get there. And when you have that mindset, you will get there. Nothing can stop you getting there. So that's what people need.
So you're saying that that was one of the strongest drivers for you, the why that you had, like on the one side, the positive goals that you had, or the why in terms of helping a lot of people, like you said, and in terms of religion, like spreading a positive message that that helps people. And then at the same time, you were a little in a pressure cooker. One second, I have some issue with my audio for some reason. Do you hear me double, or
no? I'm good. I can hear you properly.
Okay. So you had a little situation, let's call it, happening where you discovered that there's a divorce, like you said, which is true for a lot of men, right?
Yeah.
Women are, in my experience, often the ones who realize it first, and women are like kind of slower, we're like moving a bit slower on the emotional side of things sometimes, I have to admit. So, but there was a lot of negative forces, or let's call it like a pressure that was really like pushing you to where you might have broken, right? Where you said you didn't break, you actually took it, you were able to take it as a challenge because you had the right mindset, or how do you think you were able to turn that around? I'm curious on that.
To be honest, I'm not sure what kept me the drive, right? I have certain things that I know won't happen to me. Like there are certain things that, because as soon as I got kicked out, someone offered me a place to stay. Like it was like a miracle. I didn't.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just trying to look for a place. I was just walking by. Someone stopped that I haven't seen in 2 years, and then he asked me, "Oh, where are you going?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm looking for a place." "Oh, my friend's got a place. Do you want to go there?" And that was like a hotel. That was a really nice place. So I got that. So things like that. And I spoke to one of my friends, my school friends, been with him, like, I don't know, I knew him for over 35 years, right? He's in the US. I called him. He's like, "Yeah, I'll send you some money." And he sent me 20,000 US dollars. So things like that happen. So, and then I was like, wow, I have people around me. So then, and even you offered me some help. I can remember. So things like that. So there were some people, but I didn't take everyone's help. But I was thinking, yeah, worst case scenario, I have some people. So yeah, I had it in mind. I need to get up some way. I got a job within like a couple of weeks. I didn't have a job then. I got a job. So things like that happen, and then like miracles start happening. But the thing is, you have to have that positive mindset. You shouldn't go in the negative way. You shouldn't try to take revenge in a different way. Things like that. If you go that way, then everything negative will happen to you, and everything negative. It's what you think is what you attract, right? If you think positively, if you try to do everything good, then you will attract good things somehow. I know it's not going to come straight away, and you're not going to feel it straight away, but eventually it'll come. You have to have faith. You have to believe in yourself. So that's something I did. And my mother, it was the first time my mother didn't believe me. That was very sad actually. But
With
the
the
only
business, right?
with the
You said
business with
you really
yeah,
can't.
she thought I'm done. I can't get up again, and I'm like I couldn't believe it because my mother has had like she believed me all the way so far, and yeah, the
Yes.
only person who believed me was my wife, now wife. Yeah, and she was with me and she helped me all the way, and she still helps me. She's the one who's getting all the calls booked for me. So she is a business partner and we work together, and that's how we grew as well. That is, it could be a key as well when two people are or two or more people are working together to achieve one goal. I don't know what book says that, but I think it's the Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It gives you so much energy and nothing can stop that.
Uh-huh. So what do you think was enabling that with your wife to really have this partnership with her, where you're also business partners and you have like a positive dynamic there? Like,
She
I'm
had the
curious about
same
that. If
she
you
had
want
the
to share
same
about that.
visions, I think. So we both wanted to become wealthy and rich and help others. So it was synchronizing, and we were, yeah, I think that's what helped.
Okay, so you had alignment with your goals, like you both have had the vision, and it just that click in that way, right? Yeah.
Yes, we helped each other actually. We helped each other develop so much, and like even today, we do some routine things. This morning, I didn't write my goals, and my wife was like, "Did you write your goals?" And I'm like, "Oops."
Oh,
So that's the energy we have. It's like you don't even miss that kind of stuff.
wow. Well, it seems you're really blessed with the people in your life.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the next question I'm curious about is, because people have a different perception of what it means to be an entrepreneur. When are you an entrepreneur? When are you successful? So I'm curious, what does it mean to be an entrepreneur for you?
For me, being an entrepreneur is being able to help others, actually, to serve others. So being able to serve others to make to give a solution to a problem. So that makes me happy to see people succeeding, and that's one of my goals as well. So to help people succeed in life. So yeah, that makes me happy. So yeah, that's what entrepreneur is to me.
And if you were to look at your values, when you say like, let's say you're going through a day and certain things happen, and you have like a feeling in yourself where you're like, I am this person. I am, let's say, I am an entrepreneur. I am like, what is the, let's say, the steering wheel? Do you have like a feeling for what it means to be in alignment with that role for you, where you would say like, okay, now I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing in terms of business? Probably you have many of those, like for your family, how you want to be with your wife, and how you want to maybe serve and help others. But I'm curious if
It's
something comes up
it's
for you.
I think it's not like a destination, right? It's, oh, you've arrived at the destination, that's it. No, it's an ongoing process. So you keep going, you keep growing, and you keep going. So you learn every single day, you improve every single day. It could be health and fitness, it could be your relationships, it could be your business, it could be wealth, everything. It could be how many people you help, how many clients you want. So it's a matter of how much you can do. So if you can help a million, why help 500,000, right? So if you can help a million, help the million. So do the best you can, and then yeah, that's what we are trying to do. And and the goals are changing as well. It's not like the same goals I had a year ago. So it keeps improving, increasing, which is a good sign. And we are getting there. Yeah.
So what are your goals? Now you made me curious. If you want to share something.
Well, I'll share a few. I've got some wealth goals. Yes, I'm not going to share those, but I'll share some of the other goals, which are like helping at least 1 million people become successful is one of my goals. having my own charity in Sri Lanka is one of my goals. So spreading Buddhism is one of my goals. So these are some of my goals. So I've got spiritual goals where about meditation and things like that. And meditating every day is one of my goals. And we do most of the time. And fitness goals, I've got some fitness goals. I need to get to 85 kilograms or less is one of my goals. Yeah, so exercising daily, at least 4 to 5 days a week is one of my goals. So these are very important as well because they keep the mind and body are connected, as you know. So when you're healthy, it helps a lot to focus, and focus is vital in order to become successful. Because people, what they do is they think they're working, but they don't even know what they were doing because they lost the focus, because it's a lot of distractions these days on Facebook, on everywhere, like on your phone and things like that. So they think, oh, the time has gone. Even if you go to work, 9 to 5 job, they're just wasting so much time talking with people, checking their phones, checking emails and things like that. And you can do like 10 times more work during that period. But people are wasting a lot of time because they don't have the focus. Yeah.
Which is connected with the physical body as well, right? With the,
Absolutely.
the state of...
Yeah. When you're in a good state of mind and healthy, it becomes easier for you to focus, and you're happy. You have the good energy around you, and then you attract the right people. You attract the happy people around you. Yeah. So it's a lot of things, but it's not like you have to have everything to succeed. You start with one, you improve one by one, add things as you go along, and then it's like atomic habits.
Well, you said it's not a destination, it's a process. You said you keep going and you keep growing. So you, even if you're not perfect in everything, maybe you're not that good on the fitness side of things, or maybe you have certain weaknesses, but you focus on the process of improvement, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And it's really interesting where you talk about the people who are going to work and they're wasting their time with certain things. And I've read something very interesting on that is, if we don't have a goal, like a goal is something that creates a contrast. So if you do not have the goal of being an entrepreneur, then it's not wasting your time because you're not even aware of what you're doing. Yes. But once, like you said, you have the strong why and you make the switch, and then you are in the same situation you used to be, but suddenly you're like, no, this is a waste of time for me because I'm not making progress with the proper goals I want to make progress with.
Absolutely, yes.
So what does it... Yeah, I think you touched on that a little, on the success. But I have here, what does success mean for you? When do you feel successful?
I feel successful when I am able to help anyone I like without having any restrictions, so without any limitations. If I want to go and help open a university in a country, or open a hospital in a country, or help some poor people maybe, if I can do that, then I'm successful. So there shouldn't be any limitations. I should be able to do whatever I want. If you're doing a 9 to 5 job, you can't do that, right? If I want to spend time with my family, I should be able to spend time with my family. If I want to go take off for a month, I should be able to. Not that I will, but yeah.
So is that about the freedom also?
The freedom, absolutely, yes. Yeah. In a way, it's the freedom, but at the same time, whatever you want to do, really, you should be able to do in terms of financials as well. So not just the freedom, but
Okay, so we touched on a few things, but I'm curious about, people who are starting out, who are struggling. Maybe they're in this phase where they tried one business, maybe that business failed, or they're trying the first one. And from my own experience, that can be a very challenging phase because it takes a lot of energy to do it. People around you, they might think you're crazy or say, that's never going to work, especially people who are working their safe jobs and they don't really want to look at that maybe. Or like you said, your mother didn't believe that you're going to pull this off, or that this is going to happen this way, right?
Yes.
So do you have anything that you would share with those people who are really challenged, who really want to do this, but
So one thing I see with a lot of people, and with me as well, we tend to find something as a business, and then we try it out. Within a short period, we are not sure whether it's going to become successful or not. And then we try to think, okay, this has become successful. Maybe that's the one. So when we swap, and then Alex Hormozy calls it niche slapping. So you jump into that one and then try it out. It doesn't succeed in 3 months. You jump to another one. You keep jumping and you will never succeed. So you need to find out, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I like it, and people have become successful. If someone has become successful doing something, that means you can become successful. It's a matter of staying in there, learning everything you can, and giving the maximum you can. So if you do those things, you can become successful. There's no secret to it. It's not like, oh, only some people can become successful, some people can't. No. If you do the right things, it's a formula. If you follow the steps, the process, you're going to achieve there, you're going to get there. Nothing's going to stop it. But only you can stop it by thinking, is it not the right one? You're doubting yourself now. That is very dangerous.
Like with the sales, where you said if you're in your mind, you're like, is this really worth it? That's where you're transmitting it, and the other person is deterred by that. They don't want to buy in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what happens is, when you're doubting yourself, you're not putting everything in. You got to go all in. So it's the same thing. You're just, maybe I should look up on other things as well while doing this. And no, you focus, you believe in yourself, you believe in what you're doing, and go all in and do until you succeed. That's it. That's the magic word, is until. You will get there. There's no doubt about it if you believe it. But if you are in doubt, then, and one thing we do with this is something that new we started. We don't take clients who don't believe in what they're doing. Yeah, because then it affects us, because they're gonna start blaming us. They're not gonna become successful because they don't believe themselves. So how can we make them successful?
That's really interesting. So what you're saying is it has a huge impact if a person believes in themselves, or if they're doubting on their success, but even on the other people around them. They're transmitting that energy. So
as well. Yeah, of course. And then they're not giving everything towards the business. And what they normally do is they will start complaining, and they will finger point on someone else. This is why I couldn't become successful. Or they will say, oh, this is why. It's always me. Any entrepreneur who wants to become successful has to be able to take responsibility 100%. Nothing else. You're not finger pointing on anyone else but you. That's it. It's under your control. That's it. No one else can do it for you. If you believe you can do it, if you believe you can't, then it's true.
Yeah, the famous Henry Ford quote, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So
you are right.
So this leads us right into the next question I've written down. How are we time-wise? Are you good time-wise?
I'm good.
Yeah, so I want to say I really appreciate you taking the time and being here and sharing this, and I will do my best to spread the word and to really get this out to people, to entrepreneurs who are maybe challenged, maybe excited, and they just need some guidance from somebody who's actually done it, gone through some challenges, done also through a combination of personal and business challenges at the same time, which is, and come out of it, right?
Thank you.
So what beliefs would you say have really shaped your success? And I have some that I picked up, like the one you said with the responsibility, not complaining about others. I noticed the other one where you said you're really focusing on giving, not on taking.
And one thing is the most important thing, and my team, everyone in my team knows it. It's never give up. That is the biggest belief. And if you have that belief, you can get anywhere. That's the biggest one. And I always think the universe is testing me. So if they're trying to do okay, because one thing is not everyone succeeds, right? So it's only like 3% or something. So if everyone can do it, then it becomes so much easy, right? So it has to be difficult. It has to be challenging. It has to be only the best to be able to do it, right? So it's good in a way, right? If everyone can sell the same way I sell, then there's no competition. Then it'll be like, oh, it's going to be hard for me. But I want it to be difficult. So the better people or the better players in a game, they want it to be difficult. Then it's challenging, and then the others will struggle, and it becomes so much easier. So that's one thing, and I always wanted to prove the naysayers wrong. So if someone says you can't do it, yeah, bring it on. I like it. Yeah, you tell me I can't do it, I'll prove it that I can do it. So those are things that always gives me goosebumps and energy that'll just drive me like 10 times faster. I'll do anything to prove them wrong.
So that's like where you said where things came to an end with your then wife, and you lost the house and everything, and you said the best way is not to be angry at her, but to be successful, right?
Absolutely, yes. And actually, this is something I don't think I've shared with anyone, but I told my mom when she said, this is over, I said, please. She's old and she was like, oh, I'm not going to live longer, blah, blah, blah. I said, live for at least 2 more years, please, because I want to prove you wrong. And I did. And now she knows. Yes, I did that. I swear to God. Because, yeah.
But it must make her very happy that you proved her wrong, right?
Yeah, of course, yes. Maybe sometimes she does these kind of stuff to give me energy as well, because she knows me more than anyone else. But maybe that's the reason. But yeah, I proved her wrong.
So we talked a little bit about habits. You mentioned your routine, that in the morning you usually go over your goals, and if you don't do it, actually, you and your wife, you keep each other accountable. That's how I understood it, right?
Yes, it's something that my wife does it. I don't really have to remind her. She does it religiously. She does certain things, like there are audiobooks that we listen to, and there is this. There are two YouTube 15-minute YouTube clips that she listens to, and we listen to. Actually, I don't listen as often, but she listens every single day. One is the Magic Word by Earl Nightingale, and the second one is The Greener Pastures by Earl Nightingale. Those are like 15-minute clips, but that gives you a lot of energy, good energy, and that gives you a good drive. And something that I listen to most of the time, at least 4 or 5 times a week, is As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. I think I shared these with you as well. But these are very, very good, and it's all about you. So now the people who were looking for luck and for things to change for them, they look at yourself. This is in the mind. It's in you. You can change things by changing your mind, by changing the way you think. So, yeah. Then you learn that, and this is going to change the way you think and the way you work. And even stop complaining about others. It's not others, it's you.
So there's something about repetition there, right?
Absolutely, yeah. The more because it doesn't matter how many times I listen to it. I've probably listened to it more than 100 times now. The As a Man Thinketh. But I always learn something new. I was like, wow, I still keep learning. So it's not like, yeah, it's the end of it. It's you still keep learning. And most of the time, what happens is when you do it repetitively, when you are in a problem or when you are going through something, it comes up.
Yes.
And it resonates. Oh, wow, this is what I need to be doing. This is what I need to be thinking. This is how I need to be thinking. So these things help. And I have a lot of habits that I like to share with people that will be really useful as well. And I listen to a lot of audiobooks. In the last 2 years, I probably listened to every month, on average 50 to 60 hours I spend on listening to audiobooks
Wow.
every month. And I don't listen to thousands of books, but I select a few and I listen to them like so many times. So there are 3 sales books that I always listen to. So those are like Grant Cardone's books I always listen to. Uh, uh, what's his name? Zig Ziglar's book, Brian Tracy's book. Those are the best sales books, and those are the best salespeople. So I always listen, and I get a lot of energy listening to them. And when I'm with a client, when something comes up, like an objection comes up, it clicks on, this is what she's talking about. This is okay. This is the solution, and the solution comes automatically, and it's not even an objection. You just close it, easy. Yeah.
So that makes me curious, because I did some calculation while you were talking, and I will put all the books and everything you mentioned. I will put that in the notes. And now the sales book that you talked, the books that you talked about, but I calculated for 60 hours, you would do about 20 hours a week. So that would be in 7 days, about 3 hours a day, right? So where do you put that?
That's a good question. Very good question. It's called the net time, right? No extra time. So what I do is when I'm on the train, because I go to London twice a week. So I live in Maidstone now. So from Maidstone to London is about an hour and a half on the train. So up and down, it's 3 hours easy.
Yeah.
I go to Borough Green. I drive to Borough Green. That's about an hour. So up and down, it's about 2 hours. And in the morning, when I do my exercises, I also listen to an audiobook. So those are the times. It's mainly, I don't sit down or spend time. It's always extra time. So I'm doing something else.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm cleaning, maybe I'm doing gardening, right? I'm listening, right? So that's when I'm doing. That's another reason why I listen to it over and over, because I miss certain things when I'm driving, maybe, right?
So when you're not having the expectation to get everything perfect.
No.
Listening,
Yeah.
you're just taking it in, basically.
Yeah.
You repeatedly listen.
Absolutely, yeah. And you can't take everything anyway. No matter who you are, you can't take everything. You take maybe 20%, maybe 30% at a time. Maybe, I don't know. It depends on how good you are. I probably take about, I don't know, maybe 10%. But I listen to it at least 10 times. So I cover most of it and then get about 70% after listening 10 times.
And do you listen to the same book like once and then again, or do you kind of like just feeling kind of cycle through?
Sometimes I listen to it. There is a like a way I listen to it twice in a row, and then after about a week I listen to it, and then after about a couple of weeks time I listen. So there's a way that the mind works. It's called the SQ3R method. I've learned this when I was a kid. So it's like
Spin question.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember. So there is a way to do it, like a gap you need to keep between. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. So initially twice, then after a couple of days once again, and then after a week once again, maybe after 3 weeks once again, and then after a few months.
And do you keep track of that? Do you write that down somewhere?
No, it's on. I have Audible. I download everything on there, so it's on there. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, that's how I know how much I listen and everything. They keep a record. I have read this. Yeah.
So I have just one question for closing.
Of course.
That I'm curious, and then anything you want to add. But what people really inspired you?
Well, my wife.
Are currently inspiring you. Yeah.
And there's no one else to think about in a good way, inspiring as in, but People
Sorry,
who said,
what was the one? I didn't hear it.
no, there is no such person as such to inspire as such, but people, every person who said you can't do it, and every person who laughed at me had actually inspired me. They'll be like, yeah, laugh at me, you'll see me. So that's the only thing. In terms of actually habits, I missed a couple of things that I wanted to add.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll just go through it because people
Please.
would love to. Because
Brilliant.
goal writing, you have to know where you're going. You have to know your goals and not just having it in your mind, but writing them down over and over. You're talking to yourself, and you are sometimes the goals, you don't believe the goals, right? But if you keep writing them, if you keep reading over and over, there is a state where you start believing, oh, maybe I can do this, and then yes, I will do this, and then I am doing this, and I will, no matter how, I will do it. So it's different stages, but at the start you don't believe, but you get through the stages. And listening to audiobooks, that's very, very important. You have to learn. The only way you can learn is by listening to other people who have done it. So that's that. Planning the day is very important. That's something that we do, because otherwise you're wasting the day. So plan, as in, there's another book by Brian Tracy, Eat That Frog, one of the best time management books. So in that, what they say is you write the most important task for the day, and make sure you complete that first. So eating the frog, basically the worst thing in your mind, but you have to get through that, and then it's like an achievement, and then you're motivated, and you list out what you're going to do today before the start of the day. Then, or you you write it down the previous day, and then you make sure you do them. You don't have to necessarily do them, but make sure you do it in the order of importance, and then get through the day. And in a few weeks, you've done so much work that you wouldn't even believe yourself, right? So that's that. And a very, very important thing for any entrepreneur is learning how to sell. Sales is vital. If you can't sell, it's very, very unlikely you become successful. So you need to listen to audiobooks about sales. It doesn't matter who you listen to, right? I listen to Grant Cardone, I listen to Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy. I listen to a lot of sales ones. Jim Rohn is my guru in terms of entrepreneurship, right? So yeah, these people you need to be listening to, and action is the key. People don't take action; they just talk about it. They don't take action. There's a book called Ready, Fire, Aim. That's a very good book. So you don't talk about it. You don't just aim first. You just ready, fire, and aim. You find out by firing. So action is the key. So that's very important. People don't take action. They're like, I need to do this. They're procrastinators. You don't have to do anything. You just start it. You just do it. That's what needs. And the focus is important as well. People don't focus too much. They just, when you focus on what you're doing and try not to multitask, just do one thing at a time, just get it done and then tick it off, get to the other one, do it, tick it off. So those are things. And taking responsibility is the key as well. So you have to take responsibility in order to become successful. So those are the things that people need to know, and if they go through them, I think anyone can become successful. There's no secret or anything, or there's no such people who will become successful or who won't become successful. These are habits that anyone can develop, and anyone can over time get used to, like selling and things like that. Anyone can do it if they practice. So that's all. Yeah.
I love that. That's an amazing list. So I have the goal writing, where you say something changes when they start writing them down. So it's important to write them and repeating them. So you start believing that you're actually doing this.
Yes.
And you said to learn, which is you do this with no extra time. So you use the time you already have in your day, train commutes, you're driving somewhere, you're exercising.
Yeah.
You just listen to the audiobooks, and you don't even expect to understand everything, because you know that you can only take a certain part, and then you repeat them. You repeat them, listen to them twice, then you repeat them after a week, then after a few weeks, after a few months. So you actually, the knowledge sticks, and when you're in a situation with a client in a sales call, it comes up and you're able to use it, which is what you want, right? And you say you plan the day, and that is really important, having a top priority and planning the tasks of your day, either the evening before or in the morning before you start your day, and eating the frog, like first, the most difficult, important thing. Then you said sales is incredibly important. If you can't sell as an entrepreneur, it's not going to work. You need sales, and the best way to learn it is from people who know, which is listening to audiobooks and practicing that. You mentioned Jim Rohn, which is a huge inspiration. You said he's your kind of business guru.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a few others like Brian Tracy, Grant Cardone, right? Those the people that inspire you, and especially in terms of sales. And you said action is the key, like fire, ready, aim, and not waiting, procrastinating, but just doing it, not just talking about it.
Ready, fire, aim.
And sorry?
Ready, fire, aim.
Yes, ready, fire, aim. And you said the focus, which you connected with the fitness, but also you mentioned the phones and the distractions and everything around you, and really focusing on single tasking, not multitasking.
Yeah.
Yes, and I like the last point where you said responsibility. So like taking responsibility for, like, maybe people, they hear this list and they're like, yes, but I can't do this or I can't do that. And you say, no, it's about taking responsibility and finding out where maybe the negative feedback is, where something is that you can improve, and being honest and actually working on that and improving that, which is how you said basically how you got this business to grow and how it's being successful, by listening to, in that case, the feedback from the clients, right?
Yeah, exactly. And on a sales call, one thing people don't do is listen. Mm-hmm. They talk. You got to be the listener, not the talker, if you are to sell, right? People don't come to you to listen to you. They come to you to tell their problem, their pain. Mm-hmm. So you need to understand. For you to understand, you need to listen carefully and understand, and then find a solution. So when you start listening, it becomes so much easier to close in.
Which requires focus, right? Listening to somebody
Of course,
else. So
yeah.
It's all connected in a way.
Yeah, Brian Tracy says he writes a big L on top of the paper so he doesn't forget that. So people can write them down. If you forget to listen, then you know there's a big L. You need to listen. So, yeah.
So that's a good tip. So that when you're in the sales call, you go on the paper and you make a big L. And
Absolutely.
then you write your notes, basically. And you're like, oh.
Yeah. Because you forget. People love to talk. That's the problem. You end up talking, and then you freeze when it comes to asking for money. Yeah.
But it was really lovely having you. I'm very grateful.
It was really nice talking to you.
My first guest, and thank you for everything you shared. And
thank you very much, Lukas.
I look forward to talking with you. So, maybe in the end, maybe you can tell us a little bit also about your current business for those people, because you mentioned something about that you're helping people get clients, or like, what is that about?
So what we do is marketing. So marketing as in finding clients for businesses or entrepreneurs or coaches mainly. So what we now do, we have two packages actually. One is the platinum package, where we allocate one growth strategist. So that person is responsible to find clients for the client. So that person spends a full time. So 7 hours per day, 6 days a week on the client, growing the client.
Wow.
So that half of the tasks contain content creation, and then content sharing, reaching out, booking calls. It's a lot of things. What we do is it's a 4-step process. Earlier we didn't do this, but now we do this. So 4 steps are getting the attention, getting the engagement, creating the connection and trust, building the trust, and then booking the call and closing. So with the platinum package, we do up to the closing, and we do the sales calls as well for the clients.
Wow.
But for the clients, for us to do the sales call, we have to make sure it's a genuine offer and it's worked, and there are clients with testimonials, and so those are qualifying things. for them to be qualified. Otherwise, we don't close, but we book calls for them.
So that's the second package.
The first package is the one with the full-time person.
Yes.
The second package is a part-time person working 4 hours per day, 6 days a week. So they are spending pretty much so much time on social media, creating content, going towards looking for potential clients, approaching clients, reaching out to them, asking the right questions. They know what to send as messages. So they are representing the client. So then what some of the clients they do is they come to us and then they learn the strategy and then they try to implement if they have time. Or they work together with the growth strategists. So it's like an assistant. You have an assistant and you're accountable as well. Because when you have an accountability partner, then you tend to work with them. Otherwise, I'll do it tomorrow. No one's going to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So-
like having a coach when you're doing sports, right? It's very hard to
Exactly.
not show up. When
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. So that's why it's a person. And with the Platinum package, we have a private WhatsApp group where I am in there. There's a manager in there, my partner's in there, the growth strategist is in there with the client, so they can communicate, they can send any messages 24/7, and we are helping them. So, and with the Platinum package, I do sales, one-to-one sales training as well to them. So those are what we do. It's it's a very valuable offer, and no one has said it's too expensive. So yeah. So those are the two packages, and we don't do any free trials anymore. But if they need some help, we do. One thing I will share is we give a lot of value, like I said, and that's how we get clients as well. So if anyone wants to know how to give value prior to getting a client, then they can book a call and have a call with me or my team, and then we'll show them how to give value to get them to respond to your messages, because people reach out but they don't respond, right? Yeah.
Engagement. You want
Yeah,
engagement.
you
right?
want engagement. For them to engage, you have to give something first. Then they will start talking, not ask for something first. So these are
if somebody's curious and they are on social media already and they're posting a lot but they're not getting any engagement, you're saying basically they can come to you, they can come to your team, and you're gonna help them. You're gonna have a little call with them. You're gonna
Of course,
give them
yeah,
some tips,
yeah, yeah.
what you know is working.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. They can book a call with me or my team, and then we'll take them through, see what they're doing and what's working, what's not working, and it's like a clarity call to see what they are up to and what they can do to improve. And then, if they qualify, if they think they want to work with us, then we can go ahead. Yeah, sure.
And if somebody wants to do that, where would they go? Do they go to your
I'll
website,
I'll share the calendar link with you, and then I'll drop it on. Where do you want me to drop that?
you can just send it to me, and I will put it into the event and to the
Okay.
podcast, so where people can actually
Yeah,
find that. And
No
but you do have a website as well, right?
of course, yes.
Which is Chaminda Tenakun, am I right? Is that
Yeah, chamindatenakun.com. Yeah,
.com?
I have a few websites actually, but that's the one you should be looking at. Yeah, the other one is for the web development. We do web design and development as well. So there's a chamsites.com is another one.
Brilliant. I will share that as well. Yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Lucas.
I really enjoyed speaking with you. I took a lot of notes.
No, it's good. If no one else learns, I'm sure you learned. So I'm happy.
No, I'm sure people will learn from this. Yes. Thank you so much for your time, Jaminda.
You're welcome. Bye, Lucas. Take care.
Have an amazing day.
You too. God bless you.